I'm joined here today by the one, the only Antonio Carlos Jr., who we found out very recently had signed with the PFL, set to take on Tom Lawlor at 205 coming up soon. What's going on, sir? How are you?
How you doing, man? Doing well.
I'm glad to hear it, man. A lot of stuff happening for you fast, right? 2021. I mean, you competed in January. Now you've got a new promotion, another fight. Seems like things are happening fast.
Yeah, man. Thanks, God. Like I was talking to my manager. I said, man, I wanna fight as soon as possible. I talked to him about the PFL. I said, was the organization want to jump in? And he just did. We signed the PFL, and let's go get this meeting.
So, what was it about the PFL that attracted you? Is it that $1 million prize? Is it somebody in particular wanted to fight? What was it about the PFL?
Bro, was everything. I really like the system. The system is pretty good. Like, your schedule when you're gonna fight, so if you go to the finals, you're gonna fight like five times in a year. Uh, there's no politics, no like trash talking. I'm not this kind of guy, so I actually hate this kind of thing. I don't really like it. Uh, and the million also for sure. But I think what the most important is this the politics. There's no politics, there's no trash talking. I'm not this kind of guy. I actually, like I like people. I don't hate my opponents, you know what I mean? Like, I want to be their friends, you know what I mean? So that for me is just a sport. It's not like a real life. It's not I want to be talking shit in Instagram, Twitter, whatever. So yeah, that's the point.
Well, where does that come from? That whole, you you want to be friends with people, you like people, right? Some fighters, like we see them, they come out, they hate everybody. Where does that come from? Is that mentality kind of coming from jujitsu? Like, where did that sort of come from for you?
Yeah, a little bit. I think Brazilians are more warm. I like people, man. I like people. I like being around a lot of people. I think jiu-jitsu, we always like travel together. After the tournaments, everybody go party together. That was a really good environment. And I grown up on this environment. So yeah, I think if you wanna like help people, make a world a better place. That's what I try to do. I don't want nobody to be like depressed or feeling like shit or whatever. Even because I'm a fighter, I know like they mind. I know what they think. They just trying to reach their goals, as I do. So I want them to feel good. I want to win for sure. You know what I mean? I'm not there just to compete. I want to win. I want to be happy, but I don't want them to feel bad. I don't want them to feel shit. To feel like a shit. Uh, and so that's who I am. You know. So the trash talk doesn't really work for me. I know it sells a lot. The people like to see all this shit. I know. I completely understand. You know what I mean? But it's not me. And if I force it, it's gonna make me feel bad. It's not gonna be me. It's not gonna be real. It's not gonna be good. You know what I mean? Not for me. Not for everybody.
Does the PFL's format, does that make it more exciting for you, knowing that, like it's a season format, right? Like you win these fights, you get your points, you fight this guy, then you fight that guy. If you win these fights, you're going to the final, you get the million, you get the belt. Does it make it more exciting for you, knowing that, the path is very clear, like win these certain fights and this is what's happening next?
It's more fair, right? So you win, you go to the final. That how it works on like every sport. You know what I mean? Like jiu-jitsu was like that. So you win the first fight, you win the second fight, third fight, semifinals, quarterfinals, semifinals. Then you go to the finals. If you win, you get the gold. So this is how it works in every sport. Every sport's like that. And sometimes, I'm pretty grateful, you know, to the UFC, what I live like the Ultimate Fighter, all the fights that I had. But lately, especially after like UFC was sold, I think they changed too much. They become a lot of like entertainment and not a sport. And this bothers me a lot. They were good for me in some point. I was good for them at some point, and now I wasn't feeling complete. Like I want to feel complete doing what I like. I choose to do that. I wanna make money doing what I do. I wanna like be happy doing what I love to do. I don't wanna be doing what I choose to do and not be happy. So something was wrong. Maybe that's why I didn't perform well on my last three fights.
So at what point did you feel like the UFC became about entertainment? Is it when guys like Conor McGregor started showing up? Was there something else that sort of made you feel like the entertainment started at a certain point?
Man, there's a lot of stuff, You sometimes you see people who get a like easy way to the belt, This is something that bothers me a lot, Sometimes the ranking doesn't make any sense, Because if you see unboxing like number one gonna fight number two, you know, he only gonna fight number three if number two got injury or some stuff like that, So it makes sense, So the ranking wasn't even making sense for me, So there was a lot of stuff that I couldn't actually understand, you know. So and I think that it changed a lot after the UFC was sold. I know it's a business, you know what I mean. I can understand, they're looking for money and stuff. I don't judge that, but like this is a sport, we supposed to be the stars, and ended up we feel bad sometimes, sometimes a lot of pressure, sometimes some people make us feel like, nah, you're not important here. And this is bad, man. You're talking about the fighters, and we make this happen.
And so I saw that, especially today, but it seems like right now you're doing a lot of interviews, right? A lot of media. I'm seeing you talk to different people. Are you
Yeah,
enjoying doing the media rounds? I know some fighters like it, some guys don't. How do you feel about it?
I do, man. As I said, I like people. I like talking to people, I know my English is not that good, but like, I
Come
love.
on, it's pretty good, man. I mean, it's pretty damn good.
I mean, I'm trying my best, but yeah, man, I like people. As I said, I like to be around a lot of people. I hate to be alone. At some point when I go to sleep, it's good, but
Right.
like I love to be around people. I don't like to be in my house just sitting here watching TV or whatever. I like to be in the street with my friends. So I go to my gym, I go train. I hate to be in my house, All my coaches, like, especially my conditioning coach, he say, man, go get some rest. You know what I mean? No, man, I want to be here. I want to be with you guys. I want to do some, let's have some coffee. I'll do whatever, So I enjoy it.
So, what's the questions you've been asked the most? Like, I assume it's what happened with the UFC and why did you sign with PFL, right? Like, I'm sure that's the question. By now, you know exactly off the top of your head how to answer that one.
Yeah, how I felt, when I leave the UFC. And I said, at this, well, at first I feel like disappointed with myself and everything because I had a goal in my mind, and to be the champion, I could achieve it. So personally, I feel like, you know what I mean? I want to do that, and I feel bad for that, And I didn't know how it is like outside the UFC because I had three fights in 6 months, in 6 months. Then I get into the Ultimate Fighter. Then I became like UFC fighter. So I don't know what was not to be in UFC. You know what I mean? So I see there's a good life outside here. I actually, to be honest with you, like as I said, I'm really grateful uh, to the UFC, but I'm happier than I was.
And so now with the PFL, you're fighting at 205. Obviously, they don't have a 185. That's a 20-pound jump, and everybody was talking about it with Israel fighting Blachowicz, right? Like, hold on, that's a big difference. How are you adjusting to it? Are you gonna do like Israel, show up with the pizza, or are you gonna maybe put on a little bit of
Uh,
weight, man?
yeah, man. As you see, like Israel made away, like he made like 200 pounds.
Yeah,
I'm not 200 pounds. If I was 200 pounds, I'll definitely keep you on 85. But I'm not. Every time I gotta lose like 35 pounds to fight
yeah.
185, sometimes more. It used to be like 35 pounds, 33 pounds. But this is pretty hard. Especially for me. My game is like power and strength. I summon. I like a lot of jiu-jitsu, grappling. So I need the power. I need the strength,
Yeah.
So once I start dieting and like my weight start going down, I feel like my performance is not the same. You know, I feel I can perform the same way. You know what I mean? So I remember the Ultimate Fighter. I fought as a heavyweight, but I was younger, so I was even lighter than I am right now. I never actually been a heavyweight. So at the time I was like 207. So I lost what 2 3 pounds to make 205. So with Pit Fighter was a heavyweight. I fought guys like 250, 260. I don't know. The guys was way heavier than me. And then when I first get into the UFC, I try to fight 205. But yeah, I felt the difference. But I was like 24 years old, so I was a little lighter. I saw once you get older, you get a little heavier. So now I'm walking around like 218, 220. That's my normal weight. So it's pretty hard for me to make 185. I feel this weight cut. And I think now I gotta like enough weight in normal weight. It's not that I forced to be here. You know what I mean? My normal weight now is like 220. So I think 15 pounds it's enough. Especially if you're gonna fight like 5 times a year. If you want a tournament, you need to be like close to the weight. I think this is gonna be good for me.
And so, speaking of good for you, you're taking on Tom Lawlor, someone who we haven't seen in a very long time, right? Like USADA kind of ruined his career a little bit, right? They sort of came in right in his prime. Now he's back with the PFL, did his pro wrestling and stuff. What was your reaction when you saw that you were taking on Tom Lawlor in his return fight?
No, you saw the Cunningham? I
Well,
didn't know.
USADA came in right when he was at the peak of his prime, said that he had something. Turns out it was a tainted supplement, and it sort of forced him to wait, and he wasn't able to fight in the middle of his prime. So he had some big issues, and this was in the beginning of USADA. I think I want to say 2015, 2016. So
Uh-huh.
it messed with his career a little bit, even though they found out he wasn't taking anything.
Yeah, I didn't know about that. Yeah, but man, he's a veteran. He got a lot of fight, a lot of experience. So I need to watch his fights. I watched some of them. Especially the fights he fought against grapplers. I saw Chris Weidman. Yeah, he's pretty solid. Got a good wrestling, good overhands and stuff. I saw he got a heavy hand, so it's something we gotta work on it. Move, never be like never stop in front of him, and try to brawl. So yeah, I watched some of his fights. My coaches are watching too. To get the best path to the win against on a fight against him.
And so Tom, he's known for his big walkouts, right? Like he's known he puts on a show, he comes out and stuff like that. Is there a small part of you that's kind of looking forward to it, kind of seeing what kind of weird thing he's gonna bring to this fight?
Man, I don't know what I'm gonna bring to this fight, but yeah, it's fun to watch, right? I saw some, man. Yeah, it's pretty nice. I saw the last one I was watching was he walking like a nerd, with the glasses.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, he looks like a funny guy.
Well, I think he's done Conor McGregor too, right? I think he put on the braids and he had like a terrible tattoo on his chest. Like he's really done everything at this point.
Yeah, but someone told me about that. I haven't seen it yet, but I'll try to look something in the YouTube or whatever.
There you go. That's the fun thing, right? Like you have to watch all these fights. You might as well have some fun stuff to watch too. Like it doesn't always have to be, just the boring, same thing every single time.
Yeah, yeah, and it might be part of him. He might be like that. So it's just natural. You know what I mean? The thing is, if you're gonna force it,
Exactly.
it's you know it's not gonna work. You know what I mean? But if it's natural for you, great. I think it's natural for like Conor McGregor
Yeah.
you know talk the shit. I think for Nate Diaz, whatever, it's natural for them. It's not for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
All right. Well, listen, man. One last question. You're gonna hear it a million times, but I have to ask it. This is how I end my interviews. But how do you see yourself getting the win against Tom Lawlor?
man, I we need to build the strategy for this fight. But I always try to, I always look for like take the guy down, get my submissions. I'm pretty sure it's the best way. I'm not gonna hurt myself, I'm not gonna hurt my opponent. So it's the best way to win the fight.
There we go. I'm definitely not surprised, but I am looking forward to it. This is going to be a great fight. Thanks so much for the time, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate that.